Good day and welcome to your favorite sports station, TV 360 Sport. It's an exciting moment as usual on today's program. So many things going on in the world of sport. We also know that the Nigerian Ministry of Youth and Sport are trying so much to fix date for the 2020 Edo Sport Festival at a sport festival that's supposed to take place before the Covid-19, and it's obvious that if there's any sector of the economy that has been affected by the pandemic, it has to be the sports sector. So no dates fixed yet for that, but we also know that majority of sport federations have been going on, but we'll focus on one particular sport, and that has to do with rugby. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'm still Mudashi Ushitu. I'll be your anchor in the next few minutes as we focus on rugby. And we have a man I'll call a rugby expert. He eats and drink about rugby. So I'll be talking to Otu Umpot Edet all the way. Mr. Otu? Yeah, it's good to have you on the program today.
It's nice being here live on the program today. Thank you very much.
Yet, let's go straight to the point of discussion. I will want to know, like a lot of Nigerians, we like to know that before COVID, that's before March, what has the Nigerian Rugby Federation, Football Federation, put in place for the year before COVID-19? Let's start from that.
Okay. Before the advent of COVID-19, we all know last year in Madagascar, we had a tournament which we lost to Madagascar on their home soil at Antananarivo. Fortunately, we lost that game due to one or two or three circumstances. We came back preparing for this year, hopefully to host the African Cup Sevens and also to be part of the seventh series within Nigeria and also across Africa. But unfortunately, COVID-19 came and disrupted some activities which were being lined up. One of the activities were majorly, we all know the Independence Sevens, we all know the African Cup Games, we all know the Easter Fiesta, which always comes up during the Easter period, the Rugby Fiesta. We all know there are some line-up games which came out. Unfortunately, COVID-19 erupted, and we can't just progress. Most especially the festival, which all rugby players were also part and parcel for. They prepared so hardly for. They had their fitness test ready. They were ready to go, but unfortunately they could not because of the COVID-19. But we are looking forward to more tournaments next year, hopefully, amidst all the dramas and all the challenges so far. We hope for a better tournament in 2021, coming up 2021 next year.
Yeah, well said. Let me ask you this before we ask for the major second question. The coach, we have a coach, a foreign coach, by the time he has been employed by the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation. What impact has the coach had on the Black Stallions? The Black Stallions, that is the national male team for the rugby senior male team. So what is his effect since he has been employed?
One of the effects since he has been employed, he has been not just a coach, he has been like a father to the players. He has been like a guardian to the players. He had several during the COVID-19. He had several leadership programs which he came up with virtually with the players, not just neglecting them aside. I know I was part of one which had major players involved in order for them to keep shape, not just on the field, but off the field. He taught them leadership traits, especially being part of the game. Bronson has been a coach, he has been a father to the players, he has been one of the coaches where we all look forward to for young players who would like to be part and parcel of the game when it comes to coaching of rugby. I'm saying this because at least I was part of the game, the game which came last year, which we had the President Cup in Ghana. and he actually was not just he was part of the boys being treating them in a way in a such way whereby they can also be part of the game in future. He has been there, he has been all day, both on and off the field, calling them, asking them how they've been fit, the things they need to do in order to keep shape, the things they need to do in order to be fit. And if there is one thing he's always doing, he's always ensuring them that they cannot just play the game here in Nigeria. They can explore themselves across the shores of Africa. A typical example is Sammy Echo. He has always been tooth and nail with Sammy Echo. Now Sammy Echo plays for Rangers in South Africa. Now these are the things which Bronson Ware has brought into the national team. He's not just a coach; he's a leader. He's a father to all rugby players, and I can bet you on that.
Yet, now let's go back to the period of COVID-19 where the whole pandemic rocked the world. Let's look at rugby. What was happening to Nigerian Rugby Football Federation during the period of COVID-19? And I'm sure they've not started any major tournaments since the gradual lockdown has been eased. Have there been any professional tournament they've done, or what has the federation done to them? Give us what has happened from March till now as regards to the Black Stallions.
Okay, amidst the COVID-19, they've not been since the lockdown is there's not been any tournament coming up. Now, prior to the COVID-19, during the month of March, we had from World Rugby, whose name is Neil Sepp. He's one of the World Service Rugby manager. He came to assess the future of Nigerian rugby in Nigeria. Also, he also spoke on several things which Nigerian rugby need to do. One of the things it has to do with grassroots development. He made mention that grassroots development when it comes to rugby is one of the major things they need to focus on. He also made mention of developmental plan, which they need to also focus on. That is ensuring that the Nigerian rugby participates in much more tournaments. And when you participate in much more tournaments, it improves your ranking in terms of rugby. And we also know that the last one which he mentioned was in terms of finance and funding. Funding is one of the challenges going on in terms of in sport generally. Now, funding is one of the things bringing the federation down when it comes to running the sports. We go for fund, we source for fund, but all of a sudden, it doesn't draw the game backward, but rather it ensures that there is a passion for it, there's a tenacity for it, and there's also several things amidst that. And aside from that, we also know that the players were preparing for the festival. They had several plans, most of them representing different states. They had issues, but all of these, the boys kept shape in ensuring that they would want to participate in the festival. But unfortunately, COVID-19 came in and it disrupted some activities. And during the COVID-19, we had several things which we have been lined up, most especially the things which was being lined up was the partnership with Rugby Outreach Project. Rugby Outreach Project is a strength and conditioning project company which specifies what they need to do in terms of keeping shape and keeping fit. It's like a project listed out for players, most especially grassroots community players, to keep shape and to keep up the shape in terms of keeping fit. And it was a partnership done with the Rugby Football Federation. This and all the things which we have been lined up, and most of the activities which have been done, we have been sent out to all players, most especially the clubs across Nigeria, individual players, not just because COVID-19 has come, but at least in their homes, in their gyms, they can keep shape, they can keep fit. And another major success amidst this COVID-19 was the partnership deal which was being done with BLK Partners. BLK Partners is one of the kitting company which the federation had with them, and it's in line. It's a 3-year deal which they need to go in for, and it's one of the things which brought success to the federation amidst COVID-19. Success comes when everyone is being prepared. And I believe after this COVID-19, we'll all see the kids and be part of the rugby family.
Okay, very good one. We'll go on this quick break, but before I want us to talk about this, let me ask you something in between before we go for this break. Give us what women rugby football has not really developed in Nigeria as much as it's expected.
Yes, this is one of the questions I find very difficult to answer. Women rugby is not is finding it very difficult to move in terms of rugby in Nigeria. We can't compare ourselves with likes of Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, and Africa. No, they've gone far in terms of women rugby. We are just growing, like a thought, like we are just growing in terms of women rugby, and we hope someday we can catch up. Not we don't have the players. We have eligible players in Delta State, in Abia State, in Port Harcourt. We have female rugby players who are who dedicate their time and energy in playing the game. But like I mentioned earlier, funding, organizing competitions is one of the challenges which they lack so far. But I hope in the near future the federation will definitely look into this.
Yeah, I'm sure it's quickly before the break. What do you think is a factor why, from your own perspective, what do you think is a factor why women football has not developed? Just mention one or two.
One of the factors, it has to do with the women themselves coming to appreciate the game. We have few ladies who are really understanding the rules and laws of the game. When they see how the game is being played, they back down. But I feel at long run, when things are being put in place in terms of funding, in terms of resources, coaching being done to them, they can teach them the rudiments of the game. It's not just about harding and hitting hard on the game. It's all about rules. When you know the laws of the game, you definitely will play safe.
Okay, thank you very much, Musil Latvia. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be asking more question from Otu, the man I call Rugby expert.
Corruption not in my country.
Now, yeah.
Yes, Oga.
Okay.
Where I go come find 300 naira change?
I better try look for change now. When they do business. Hey, Timmy. I did, bro. I be. I beg, give me 200 naira. Make I take sort out this guy. If let's say no get change.
Take it, give us.
I said 200.
Give her 100 naira.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree to pay 200.
How much you think they carry people from that place we carry on the chair?
Oga.
No, they touch me.
Now 100 naira. He agreed to pay.
Because that was what you said was the fair. Why you not go pay you? Why you they extort your customer? You see this corruption. What would they hear for news? They see for people everywhere. Now be this. This is corruption, not in our country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Yes, thank you for keeping in touch with us here from 360 Sports. We still have Otto in the house, and we'll be looking at the plans of the Federation to host a national tournament. Can you give us a preview of what Nigerians should be expecting from this tournament?
One of the tournaments which they need to host, or which they'll be hosting, I don't really know how the real figure of the major tournament, but I know from my sources, I gathered that there will be a tournament amidst this COVID-19. All they are needed to do is to prepare for the COVID-19 kits in order for them to keep safe on and off and on the pitch. We're looking forward in hosting a tournament whereby all players being involved will be safe. Everything is necessary which needs to be done by the players, the medical team, the players themselves, the strength and conditioning coach. Everybody needs to keep fit, and Federation itself is looking forward to ensure that the kit itself, the kit itself is being done for players to be part of the game in order for them to play the game safely and sound amidst the COVID-19.
Okay. We know that the fact that there are some clubs making Kawi FC rugby football and other rugby football. Can you tell us, examine 3 or 4 well-known rugby clubs in the country and tell us their prospects and effects in rugby in Nigeria?
Okay, I'll be breaking it down. In Lagos, we have the Kawi Rugby Football Club. We have the Racing Rugby Football Club. We have Gosa Rugby Football Club in Ajegunle. We have the Echo 2 Rugby Football Club. We have the KC Old Boys, King's College Old Boys Rugby Football Club in Lagos. All these clubs are being situated here in Lagos, and their prospects are that they are young lads coming up to shape in order for them to understand there's a growth and development of most of these players understanding the game of rugby here in Nigeria. And all they need to do, all they need to do is to ensure, that they understand the game and they play the game so heartedly and passionately. Now, in Kano State, one of the most popular clubs we have in Kano State is Bariwa Rugby Football Club in Kano. We have not just Bariwa alone, we have that of Kano Police, we have that of the Zaria Bees, and just Red. But Bariwa has produced the major players we have in Black Stallion are from of Bariwa guys. And these guys have played together in a very, very youthful stage. They've been playing together when they were in secondary school, in primary school. They've been playing together when they're in secondary school, in primary school, and up to the university days. So if we have a chunk of players in the national team, majority of them will be from Bariwa. And we have most of them coming up, growing up, and also impacting what they've learned into most of the schools and primary schools and secondary schools in Kano. We all know Kano has a very large population, and in terms of school sport, Kano has nothing less than 100 schools, community schools playing rugby. And kudos to Bariwa, because each individual of those players are going to each of those schools, teaching the kids how to play rugby. And from there, they have a tournament. And when they have a tournament, they grow. Now, in Delta State, we have clubs in Delta State, in Abia State, in Edo State. We have Abia Buffaloes, we have Delta Warriors, we have clubs, I don't know one of the other clubs again, but I know very well that these players, all they need to do is to come up with a competition. There are lots and lots of players across the country.
Yeah.
What they need to do is to ensure that they have a viable tournament whereby all players will come and play, understand, not just play, be part of the game, understand the rules and laws of the game, because the laws changes every day. Not just because they want to change the rules. They want to make the players feel the game, being safe, play safe, and understand the rudiments of the game.
Yeah, you mentioned something, and you said the club in Kano, Bariwa, have most of the national theme. Is that a change from where we know that Kawi FC in Lagos form a big bulk of the Black Stallions team?
The selection of the players into the national team is majorly done by the coach and the team manager. They go to each of the clubs and know those players who are fit, not those players who can play. They go to each of the clubs to pick up players who can play. Now, we have several calls from players outside the country who want to be part of the Black Stallions team. Now, majority of them do not know that there is rugby is being played in Nigeria. But when they saw that the Nigerian rugby is being known all over the world. They've gone to several tournaments. They are coming in to play. Now, the selection of players, whether you are a Kauri player or whether you're from Bariwa, you're from the Nigerian Police, or you're from a Racing Football Club, the selection of players is done by the team manager and the coach himself. So, whatever players or whatever decision the coach takes in selecting the players, he knows best. He knows what he wants. It doesn't matter whether whether a club has a huge amount of club players into the national team or the other. So it's been done by the national coach and the team manager.
Okay, lastly, let's look into the future, and I want you to say something about. There's a recent trend. It's not recent when it comes to football. The invitations, extending invitation to foreign-based players to come and join the Super Eagles. We know that the likes of Alex Iwobi and the rest of them, they are all born and nurtured outside the country. Now, the same thing is extending to the Super Falcons. And do you think you might see in the nearest future where the national team, that's the Black Stallions, will be comprising of only foreign-based players, ignoring those in the local league?
I don't think so. No. If the federation wants to extend an invitation to players outside the country to come and play, first of all, you have to prove yourself. Yes, you'll be invited, but you have to prove yourself on the field before going for the national tournament. When we had the game in Ghana, they had invitations for players who played in South Africa, just like Ricky Wagbara and Dino Otoro. Dino Otoro played in Italy, while Ricky plays in South Africa. And we had majority of our players who played the game against Ghana and Ivory Coast from Nigeria. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there have been calls, there have been messages, text, email of players who want to play the game or play the game of rugby in Nigeria. Now, let's not forget that the rugby sevens is different from rugby 15s. Players who plays for rugby sevens may not generally play for rugby 15s. Now, if a player is being given an invitation to play, a foreign player is being given an invitation to play for rugby sevens, it depends on what the coach has seen in that player. Now, you playing for rugby sevens may not guarantee you to play for rugby 15s.
Yeah.
I can remember very well that when we played rugby sevens, African Cup sevens in Ivory Coast last 2018, majority of our players who played that game were from Nigeria. They were from Nigeria, from Kauri, from Bariwa, from Goza, from Racing. And unfortunately, at that final game, we became second at that tournament. Now, I'm not saying that those who play outside the country are not good enough, or those who are playing in Nigeria are not good enough. But you have to prove yourself. You have to show that, yes, you can play for the Black Stallion.
Okay. Thank you very much, Otu Nkpon-Edet. Thank you very much for being part of today's program.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have Otu Nkpon-Edet, who is a rugby commentator, a rugby writer, and work closely with the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation. And we want to say a big thank you once again. And yes, and this is all we could take on today's program. Wherever you're joining us across the globe, don't forget to make the conversation continues on all our social platforms, where you could ask questions, give us your feedback, and tell us what you need to know about TV 360, and most especially 360 Sport. Like I do say at the end of every program, enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.